It worked. All my little seedling babies are doing okay after the mild frost. That's awesome. Well, cheers, YouTube world. It's been a minute. I always forget to do long form videos for you guys, but I thought now's the perfect time. Mid-spring planting season. We've got a lot going on. A lot has changed since we last caught up, and I figured you could just do a walk along with me and see what we've been up to. But yeah, let's take a walk. I've got a couple chores that I got to do today, so maybe you can ride along with that. I can show you some of the updates that we have to our expanded garden area, where it's at right now, some new things that we've planted. I might even take you down into the garage and show you some of our seedling babies. I don't know, we'll just keep it like low key, because like, why be so serious? Anyway, let's go take a cruise. Excuse the mess. I still gotta clean all my seed starting trays. It's a never-ending cycle. I love this little bed. It's coming to an end, and I should have tried to capture some video for you guys before it kind of reached the end of its life cycle, and we did have some rain that took it out a little earlier. You name it, under the sun's early spring bed, and it's one of our favorite little areas. It's taken about 3 years to get to this point, and oh my gosh, especially when we're like sitting out in this little makeshift area, it's just so dreamy. When it's popping, it is popping. This year, I've spent a lot of time trying to propagate from here, since this is already established, and start to move it out into some of these newer areas. So we're trying to fill this little area in. Some of them are working out, some aren't. Found a bunch of discount perennial poppies, and so I've also sprinkled them into this area. See, this is Hackberry Nation right here. Like, look at that. There's like 2. And then you got another one coming up behind it. Oh, look at that. So the anemone is like really taken off this year. Certain areas it's just doing really well. Let's take a peek. Look at that. So pretty. Oh my goodness. So pretty. All right, I gotta go take off some more pots or pot lids from our frosted stuff. And since we're heading over there, we can take a peek at the expansion. Cause like, look, can you see that? Look at that. Oh, there's so much going on over here. We're so excited. I'll give you the lowdown in a minute. Seedling babies are doing fine. That worked out really great. All right, let's do this one. I think we got one more day of a possible frost, and that may be the last one. I'm keeping my eye on the weather. I do see a dip next week around this time, but it looks like it's sticking around in the 40s, so we may be in the clear and be able to plant this baby up soon, which is like always the most exciting time, also the most labor intensive, because there's a lot you got to get in the ground like real quick. So yeah, check it, y'all. This is our expanded area. As you know, that's our regular garden. I'll show that off in a minute, but here's our expansion. So as you know, we solarized this last spring, and then after that process was done, we laid cardboard, we laid the chips, we let it sit, and then slowly we added in the infrastructure. And everything you see in here, for the most part, was either free or upcycled from things that we've purchased in the past. So the T-posts, the cattle panel arches that we have, even the cattle panel pillars we have. So these pillars were pretty much waste pieces that we had cut off from prior projects, and just was like, how can we artistically use them and grow stuff on them? And so we created kind of this pillar entryway into our garden space so that they flank both sides and can add, you know, greenery and whatnot. And then these cattle panels were ones that we had already had, and so we set them up. These beds down here, this was our old composter from 2 or 3 years ago, where it was like kind of like a cedar wood dado kind of put together situation, and we've just cut them down and reused them and filled them up. And then these metal beds back here, someone gave to us. They said, hey, my mom's moving. You want these beds? Come get them. They're yours for free. You just got to get rid of them. And so we did that, and that turned out really awesome. Obviously, the chips and cardboard were free. We got the cardboard from dumpster diving and the chips from Chip Drop. So, wow, you know, like, it's crazy that we did pretty much this whole area with little to no money. And I mean, you can even see, like, the bed, they're old, they're not really holding up. And we're just rigging it together with some ratchet straps. I mean, not everything in the garden has to be perfect. That's what I love about gardening, is that you can literally, you know, make it what you want. And as long as you're growing stuff, it doesn't matter how pretty and perfect it is. I don't know, that's what we kind of love. Anyway, excuse the mess. We've got to clean up our old fabric. We're actually keeping this. It's great for doing solarization projects. This is even great for temporary frost protection, like around pots and different things like that. So we're going to hold on to it and just use it for various different things. But here's our area. What we've got going on, or the vision, is in these front boxes, we're going to do the Three Daughters with some specialty gourds like the Dippers and the Caveman, mixed with some corn and some beans. In the center, we're going to bring out our tea bush and our bay bush. We're taking that out of the garden and we're just going to put it in here because there's plenty of space here. Why not put it? For our pillars, we're going to do cucamelon, our honeycomb, cherry tomatoes that every year we say, we're not going to do those anymore because we've done them for so many years. We want to try new stuff. But every year, people at Nick's work are like, are you guys doing the honeycomb cherry tomatoes? Because they're awesome. And so here we are again. But we thought that these would be a great spot to put them. And then on the back row, or the back pillars, I found some nasturtium. That is a vining nasturtium. So I'm going to put that there right now. I think we have, right now we have some peas that are starting to form. And they're looking good. I'm really impressed. We tend to have trouble with peas because it goes from like cold to like really warm. So I planted peas like everywhere I possibly could. Like, we've even got some in this bed over here. And they're looking good. I mean, super good. But we'll see how it actually pans out because, like I said, once the heat comes, they kind of just don't do as much. This year, we are going to be planting some plants on our moon gate. So I've got some sweet peas that we're going to give a shot. And they're just now starting to come up. I've got it on both sides, and we'll thin them out if we need to. And I also have some scarlet runner beans as like a backup if that ends up not working out. We also have that working out for this trellis. We've got sweet peas. And as you know, we expanded the wildflowers. So initially, if you guys have been around for a while, you may remember, but we did wildflowers all right here. And last year, before the expansion, we had wildflowers here. We've since nixed the ones here and just run the wildflowers as kind of like a natural hedge here. Now, I will admit, see if I can get down in here. I will admit I am a little nervous about the expansion area because I did not do as much due diligence as I've done in some other areas. And so we're seeing a couple things happen here. One, there is still Bermuda grass that is starting to poke up. I'm not worried about the dandelion, but we do have Bermuda grass that did not fully get solarized and is starting to pop up, and that will essentially take over the area. So that is giving me a little bit of pause that I just don't know if our wildflowers will create enough shade and growth and enough time to overcome the Bermuda grass growth. So that may be an issue. Also, we used compost here, which had not been fully sterilized or reached the heat temperature that it needed before we used it. And so we do have a lot of sprouts coming in here, like tomatoes and different things like that, which I'm a little less concerned about that aspect, because you can easily, pull them, transplant them to other areas. The Bermuda grass, though, I am pretty worried about. Third thing is we recently had some torrential downfall of rain over the past several days. And I did notice some significant puddling and or drainage just not being as good as I'd like. And it's mainly because our natural soil is very clay heavy. And so I am a little nervous about that. Now, we don't get rain like that terribly often. So I'm less concerned about that, but it does signal to me that I'm just not as happy with this soil yet. Hopefully in time we can get it cranking a little bit better. And who knows, maybe in subsequent years we will just put wood chips here to kind of help with creating that soil, because essentially that's why we did all this here, is to create walking paths, obviously, but also to kind of build a better soil than what our land naturally kind of has. In these little pockets over here, like over here and over here, we're going to do some cut flowers, mostly zinnias and a few other things. And then along the border over here, we're going to be doing all of our watermelons and things like that. I do have my sunflower stakes from last year. As you can see, they are huge. We wouldn't even be able to put that into the size wood chipper that we have at this point. Could chop it down and use it as firewood. But I have made a teepee several times and it has fallen down. I mean, I haven't really staked it to the ground, so that's part of the problem, but we may reenact that here and have the wildflower, or not wildflowers, but the cut flowers in with it. Still not sure on that. Clean up some of this junk. Yesterday I was doing a video on frost cover protectors, things that you have like around the house, and I just kind of was lazy and left it all in the yard. Let me bring you over and show you what we got going on over here. So this little area is starting to come together too. Everything slowly but surely, it's a process, but little by little you sprinkle things in and it starts to really come into its own. So this year we have actually gotten a couple like additional berries for the food forest. So over here is a jost berry, which is kind of like a mix between a gooseberry and a red currant. It doesn't have any thorns, but it has kind of like a berry that's similar in flavor. I think this is going to be a good solution. We got two of them. We put one here and one on the corner over there. Got some butterfly weed that's doing really well. I think this is like a red version. We're also trying to start some flower areas. So we've got like little pockets here and there. You'll notice like in the back I've moved all the wood chips. And we've even got flowers that look like they're starting to come in. Essentially, we're going to have the back line of the fence be kind of like sunflowers, wildflowers, perennial wildflowers. And then you'll have like a layer that is like the arborvitae, and then kind of like some of these fruit bushes, and then the layer of lilacs. Back there we have the lemon balm that we transplanted from the garden space, and that's doing really well. We've got two little bits of that. This is the other fruit that we added. So we have this one right there, and one on the other side that you'll see, which is a honeyberry. That's a plant that I've wanted for quite some time. So if it does well, that'll be awesome, because we have not been able to have success with our blueberries so much here, and these kind of have a fruit like a blueberry. So I'm excited to give them a shot and just see what they're like. Our chase are starting to wake up. We've got 3 of them. They're getting a little bit bigger year by year. That's good to see. Nick built this, I guess, over winter using some old cedar that we had and some old pavers and stuff that we had stored around. He was like, why don't we just like reuse this and make a little countertop here? So, you know, like if we're out using the fire pit, we can put all of our s'mores making stuff here. Like this side of the bed, again, we've got another honeyberry. We've got another jossberry. Over here was a butterfly bush that we transplanted that was kind of hurting. And so we're hoping that, I mean, obviously it's coming back already, but we're hoping that she's going to get fuller and live her best life over in this side of the yard. You want to see something cool? Come check this out. So we put up this birdhouse, and then the bird put a nest behind the house. Come look at it. It's pretty cool. I don't think there's any eggs in it yet. Are there any eggs in there? Can you see? I don't think there are. I could be wrong. We also have a nest out front, same light that they did last year, with the same, not the exact same obviously, but 3 eggs like they did last year. It's kind of cute. Definitely the nest this year, I personally think artistically looks nicer than it did last year, a little bit more flair. How are we gonna do this? Of course, there's already freaking Bermuda grass. Ugh. So our goal with this space is to continue to expand our kitchen garden and maybe re-envision it a little bit. Not entirely sure, and I'm sure it will change year after year, as everything always does. That's been our herb garden for as long as we've been gardening, for the most part. And it does really well over there. It gets a weird kind of sunshade situation, so it's been hard to kind of figure it out. But since we have put all of these wood chips out here, just so that we didn't have to mow the hill and all of that, we really want to move all of that to create one big, large kitchen garden. But I got to thinking, because there was a plant, or there were some seeds that I got that we did not have a planned designated area for them, which was cantaloupe. And I figured this could be a good little spot to do the cantaloupe, kind of cover some of this area, just let it go kind of wild, mix in some lettuces and some radishes and some dill and basil and all the other things that it loves, and just really start to get this area kind of started planting. And then maybe in a subsequent year, when we want to maybe pseudo formalize it a little bit more, that's when we can then start constructing formalization. Because I know back there I'm probably going to want to move some of the herbs as a result, and I just don't know if I'm up to that task with everything else on my plate this year. But I am going to try and at least prep this area for those cantaloupe to come. And what I'm going to try to do, because like I said, we're on a slope, is I'm going to move the wood chips over this way and then use some of our cedar scraps that we had from our garden beds that's just kind of sitting around the property, and maybe like do something like this and then backfill with dirt. That's what I'm thinking. So we're going to prep that now and just kind of get that situated and see what it looks like. Ah, look at all that freaking grass. God, nothing kills it. It's like the zombie grass. Save that for over there. Okay, what do we think, guys? So again, we have like a pathway that I'm trying to create here, but like, that's not bad. We'll put some dirt in here, backfill that a little bit. Not too shabby. I'm pretty impressed. Bermuda grass, aka zombie grass, because like literally nothing kills this thing. The only way we've even been able to tamp it down is if we do a serious solarization of an area and then put on cardboard and then put on wood chips. Otherwise, it just starts to make its way back through. I even did some research once to see like what can you use Bermuda grass for? Can you eat it? Can you make stuff out of it like cordage? Nothing. It's horrible. All right, here goes nothing. Definitely gonna probably need some more soil. A little bit of sandwiching action here. Yeah, we're gonna have to get some more. We're gonna have to get some more, Miss Dottie. The beauty of this design is that it doesn't have to be permanent. Like, we could change this in a year or so. But for now, I think this little terracing idea is gonna work for us. Let's go into our herb bed. This area we won't touch. This is all like hostas and shady plants, and it does well the way that it is. A lot of this stuff though is perennial, and I think we can like jostle it around and move it as needed. Like, really like to have like a bed over here, a walkway, and a bed so that there's like four, like a four-fer. We're planning to bury that drain and make like kind of like a river rock runoff space. But until then, I can kind of get these beds, but that definitely, it's like not straight to the fence. So maybe I push it back a little bit more. Holy cow, you guys gotta take a look at this. If you see that in your soil, you're doing good things. This right here is mycelium. It's like a plant network. It's a fungi. It's part of the mushrooms. It's what mushrooms do. But it literally is like the World Wide Web, in my opinion, of the fungi world. Creates all these little like pathways and really connects the land. They say that trees in some ways talk to one another using this neural pathway. So if you see that in your soil, you're doing good things. Don't be alarmed. I guess go get some dirt. I might get some more flags. Look at Miss Dottie. She's such a good helper. Aren't you, Miss Dottie? Look at her little face. Look at her little face. All right, I'm not going to get too much into it. We are off probably to Home Depot because they usually have the dirt that we're looking for. We're going to get ourselves some dirt. Thinking like maybe 10 bags. I don't think that specific area is going to take 10 bags, or at least I hope it doesn't. But we'll have, more dirt for the other areas that I have to do for like the cut flowers and stuff like that, just so I can get ahead of those sections before heavy planting comes, because I'm going to need more dirt once we start planting some of our starts in some of these landscape beds, etc., etc. So let's go to Home Depot. Let's get some dirt. So yeah, let's do this. This is essentially what we're looking for. Gotta get a cart, maybe someone to help. I think I need some landscaping flags too. Don't get distracted, don't get distracted. Let's first get the flags out of the way. Oh, here they are. Wow, these are pretty beefy compared to what we normally use. We'll just get these at Lowe's. They're a little cheaper too. All right, soil acquired. Can you guys see it back there? I don't know if I'm gonna be able to actually take it out myself, but we've got it, so that's good. Off to home. I think I'm gonna skip the flags for now. I just want to get home. My eyes are, you see them? They are watering like crazy. All right, we're home. Easiest way for me to transport stuff, especially big things of dirt to the backyard, is through the gate. Hopefully I open them up wide enough so I don't scratch my car up. Am I good over here? Good over there? Solid. I'm gonna bring some of it over into this area just cause that's part of where we need it. This to the other spot. I think we're good over there. I've divided the dirt up about halfway between each spot, but I want to try to finish off one project because I know we're going to need more dirt. So I'm going to move the rest of this dirt over there, and I think I'm going to do like a little donut in the yard to get myself over there. So I reserved 6 bags. I don't know if we'll actually need 6 bags, but maybe. So let's get this unloaded. All right, let's boogie. Also, sidebar, not related to anything, we recently scored a foldable table from Goodwill for a decent price, and I've been on the hunt for one of these for a while. I'm hoping to get some use out of this with the disco garden, whether it's plant sales or veggie sales or garage sales or whatever. It's a great table. It's real long, lightweight, and in good condition. So that was a great score. Go Goodwill, shop secondhand. Let's do a little garden tour. We got new hardwood floors. I don't know if I put that on a different vlog or not, but we completely covered the whole garden in wood chips again from Chip Drop. We replaced out the landscape fabric, which really did not work for the Bermuda grass. And I suspect we're gonna have problems with Bermuda grass until the day that we die. But at least this gives us a good foundation to build off of and maybe build some new soil and all that kind of jazzy good stuff. Another thing we did was we moved our water station from that corner over there to more centralized so it can, I don't know, just run a little bit better through the garden. And we even tapped our irrigation into the same infrastructure, just so it's all kind of in one central location. It's not, you know, just consolidating, trying to make it a little bit more efficient. We also put up trellising in dang near almost every bed. We are leaving some beds that won't have trellising, and those will be typically like greens and things that, and beans and things that we will rotate throughout the years within those, and try to just keep these areas for all the trellising stuff, which is most of the beds. Got some stuff coming up, just like in the last one. We've got our peas coming up. This is our brassica bed. Asparagus is just now starting to come in. I did add in this bamboo kind of cage just to see if I can have that kind of help keep it managed, which we all know it's a little unruly, but like, look at this dude. He's freaking huge. If I'm standing on the ground right now, he is, here he is. Can you see that? Like, it's only like another foot to my head. Like, I could pretty much eat that. Tall, very, very tall. We've got our onions in. Garlic's doing great. It's right here. She's looking good. Look at those rows. Nick's very precise when it comes to the rows. I'm more of a chaos gardener. Greens, they're doing pretty good. More greens over here. Peas and onions over here for now. So, garlic bed. right here we've got bunnies living underneath of it, little babies. Now, hopefully they're still okay, because, you know, they kind of came at a precarious time when we got hit with some really bad storms and whatnot. But certainly, if you see, all of the garlic that is near the bunnies is doing really well. Now, I did put an X, I don't know if you can see it, an X with twigs on top, and it looks like they may have been abandoned. So I don't know what's going to go on with them, but we're leaving them here for now. We're letting Mother Nature do her own thing, and that be that. And if they survive, hopefully we can kindly coax them not to eat our garden. And if they end up not surviving, hopefully Nick can give them a proper burial out front. Anyway, I think I'm going to go inside. I'm going to have to start charging my phone anyway. And then we'll pick back up in a little bit. Maybe I'll give you like a tour of our seedlings or something like that, just so you can kind of see where we're at with them. I will say seedlings, I started them a little bit later this year. I don't know, it's like giving me weird feels because it's not the same experience that I'm familiar with. Things just look really small. They look kind of sickly. I had trouble with peppers this year. All the perennial flowers are small, but they look healthy, so I'm not really as worried about them so much. Tomatoes are looking good. It's my peppers mainly that I'm kind of like freaked out about. And it's because, like, I don't know, I think it's because like I had to do a second round. I just started later and it's just throwing me off. So like I'm in my head of like, I'm just in my head about it. But we do need to start hardening off soon. We're kind of getting to that point where we got to start that process. I usually take about 2 weeks with that, starting out real gentle and then escalating up from there. Once this cold snap kind of like passes us, that's probably when I'll start doing that little dance of like moving them outside in the shade for about 4 hours, moving them back inside, and doing that, and just increasing it and doing it on a daily basis until they're fully acclimated outside and can just live outside until I'm ready to get them in the ground. All right, it's a few hours later than the last time we caught up. And I'm just getting back from running a package to the post office, making that money a little bit at a time. But I figured while we were downstairs, I'd give you a run through of our seedling grow situation this year. Maybe you'll be inspired or just curious what we're doing, and well, this will give you a clear show. First and foremost, here's our little potting area. We put wheels on the table. We've had this table for, God, since we first moved in here. It was like one of the first woodworking things that we did. But just this past winter, we finally put the wheels on it so we can use this as a table that can scoot around, whether it's to harden off outside or to put under the grow light here or to use as a potting table, whatever the case may be. It's working pretty well. We also, in doing some of the renovation upstairs, were able to move our heavy-duty baker's rack into the garage, and we're now using that as another area where we're growing. So if you've been with us for a while, you know this is our seedling cabinet. It's a machinist cabinet. It's all metal. Nick won it in a raffle, and we turned it into our seedling cabinet. And for the most part, this is where we do most of our growing. So each shelf has a 42-inch heat mat that we really only use during the germination stage. And then each shelf has two 42-inch lights. And yeah, everything's looking really good. I mean, here's what we got going on the top shelf. Most of this is lavender that we literally just started. Because I just get a bug up my butt and I'm like, no, I don't have enough of something. And so I plant more. But this is mostly brassicas, which at this point I don't even know if it matters because we've got brassicas growing out in the bed themselves by seed. This is a couple different just types of flowers. I think we got some marigold back there. What's this? There is no label on it, so I don't remember exactly what it is. Like most of our stuff that we prep for the season, like our heavy hitters, the things that we care kind of the most about. So we've got some more brassicas. I think that's cauliflower. Again, not even sure if we're going to need it. This is all of our tomatoes. They're looking really good. We're trying slips for the first time and it looks like it's working. I'm just waiting for them to get a little bit larger before I put them in water and then pot them up. And then before you know it, we will be basically growing our own sweet potatoes from last year's harvest, and that to me is just so stinking cool. We did that with our garlic 100% this year, and if we can do that with our sweet potatoes as well, that is 2 crops that like will be straight up 100% sustainable, and that is awesome. We got our little butterwort here. He's supposed to be for these fungus gnats, but he's not collecting shit, man. He's just not eating anything. But we did end up putting in some of these little traps to kind of help. Down here, I just recently put this one, so I'm trying to increase the heat in here. So we've had nothing but trouble with our peppers this year. I'm just gonna be flat out honest. Like, I don't know what the hell happened. As you can see, they've gotten a lot of gnats and they're just really not growing past their false leaves. Like, this was our first batch and that's all we got out of probably doing enough flats similar to this, but this is all we got out of it. And yeah, it was really disappointing. Most of this is just like banana pepper. So we then ended up doing a second batch pretty late, where I did like a bunch. Like I did like a bunch of poblano, a bunch of Anaheim, and we got them all to germinate, which is awesome. But like they're just real slow to like move on. So I'm like, is it that it's too cold? Like, so I'm using this as a tent to kind of maybe. And the heat mats are only on down here, so I'm hoping that that kind of helps. Some ginger over here. We've got 3 steady ones that are coming out, and then we've got some that are just about to emerge. So it would be 9 total. We got no turmeric, so I'm hoping that this 9 will fill out the bed that we're going to put all of them in. We're also doing sweet potato slips via the water method, and they are a lot slower than the soil, but we are just starting to get our little sprouts starting to come in. Back there we've got some flowers, and here we also have some late started flowers. So that's everything in the cabinet, and then like I said, we're using our baker's rack as our extended grow. I don't have enough lights for it, but I did the best that I could with what I have. But pretty much everything that's on here are flowers. Whether it's like salvia or agastache or yellow drumstick or some black-eyed Susans or marigolds or blanket flower, you name it. I mean, we've got the gamut there. And then same thing with really this whole shelf. I mean, we do have some onions here. That honestly, I don't even know how they're doing anymore. They might have to, let's see. They're not terrible. They do kind of look like they're starting to lose some of their muster. We'll see. We'll see how those go. I have some starts already out in the ground. So if I lose these, it is what it is. We'll see. I think I can cut them back too, and that'll really help them. But we got some safflower, we've got some chrysanthemums, you name it. And then same thing for up here, a lot of flowers up here. And then we even have an overflow section from all of that. So over here, again, we've got more of our agastaches, our salvias. There might be a couple yarrows, maybe. There's like a rose mint right here. some blue disc daisies, butterfly weed, and then down here we've got our rosemaries that I bought from the store, because I mean it's really difficult to get that from seed, but I may try to do some like where you trim it and transplant it kind of thing. And then last but not least, we have our 2 bushes. So we've got our bay laurel, which looked horrible last year, and it's actually looking okay this year. It's still small, but there is new growth, which makes me happy. And then our tea bush, which was like all the way up here, but it also got hit really hard with overwintering. We also have a bunch of cicada damage, but it is growing some new growth on it. And so we're just kind of hoping that that is, you know, what brings this baby back. So we shall see how that all plays out. I'm hoping to get most of this stuff like outside. I'm hoping by like Thursday. I think that's when the temps are supposed to warm up. And I really like to just kind of like start to do that process and let it acclimate. Just get started. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this vlog style video. I'm kind of whooped from moving those chips and dirt. My eyes are driving me bonkers. So I'm just going to take a shower and chill. At any rate, I'm going to call it for this video. I hope you had fun following along. It was great catching up. Hopefully I can get on the ball and start giving you guys a little bit more of these on a more regular basis, just to keep you in the loop on like what we're doing around here, and showing you some of the inner workings, a little BTS of like what we're doing at the disco garden. At any rate, my dogs are hungry. Let me get them some food. It was great catching up, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.